Hi everyone, this is Tanner here, and welcome to episode 2 of Lanterns, my review of it. And I want to say front up that I like this episode more than episode 1. I thought episode 1 was pretty great, but I think episode 2 is better for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think the filmmaking was just a bit better. One of my main complaints of episode 1 is that there's a lot of quick cuts. I feel like for the second episode, there's a bit more long cuts. The camera kind of stays with the characters more in some shots. And I definitely like that here. I think that the camera work is definitely improved. Episode 2 I also like is that I continues to just really dive in more into the mythology of Green Lanterns in a way that I really love. I think that this show is such a great way if you're entering as a fan of Green Lanterns for the first time, or if you're an experienced kind of person, there's some cool stuff in this episode that I picked up on as well. Episode 2, Hal and John, I thought were both very good here. I thought John really kind of came more into his own in this episode. I thought he was good in episode 1, but I like how he gets more to do in episode 2. And I think that overall his character just kind of felt more in his own. In episode 2, the characters are more independent than the first one, and while I love the chemistry of these two, it was kind of nice to see them be more independent. And I think you can see each of their acting chops really different. I thought what we learned about John was, and just kind of how he acted, was really good in this. I love the intensity just Aaron Pierre brings to this character. It's not like mean intensity, but you can tell he just is very serious about what's going on. And I really like that. Kyle Chandler continues to kill it as Hal Jordan. He was really fantastic in this here. Really, really great stuff. I think it's turning into one of the best DC castings that we have seen in quite a while. So really just a fan of what they're doing with him. What continues to impress me about Lanterns is the dialogue, and how dialogue scenes can almost be kind of like action scenes, in a sense of how they create tension and drama. There's some really good dialogue scenes in this episode particularly, and I really like the way that that's written. I think sometimes a lot of superhero media can really be relying on big action and whatnot, but I really like how we get a good amount of just really great dialogue that has these characters kind of sometimes on opposite playing fields, and I mean all different characters. And I think that what makes this show have excellent tension is the first episode and this one. Well, mainly, like, you kind of understand, okay, what's going on, but you have these character dynamics that oppose each other, and that's what I really like, and I think it's just is done very well. So yeah, I really liked the second episode. I felt like I said, the camera work was better. Just some great stuff here. There's also, without spoiling, something that this episode does with the Green Lantern ring. It happens very early on. That I found very cool, and just kind of a nice little thing here that I thought was a nice touch. So yeah, overall, really like this one here. Great stuff. And one thing I really like about Lanterns so far is the first 2 episodes is that there hasn't been any filler. I feel like what we've gotten has been crucial. Every scene is important, and I like that about this show. I think that's something that a lot of shows can fall into, is that, oh, we're kind of wasting time. I do not feel that at all. Also, another thing I want to point out is this episode was pretty funny. I thought the first one was funny, but this one, there's some great humor in it. Really good stuff here, yet it can also be super dramatic, but I like the humor in this here, especially with the character of Hal Jordan. I think Kyle Chandler, like I said, is just so good as this character, great at the dry wit. So yeah, I really like this. I'm going to go 9 out of 10 for episode 2. I was debating high 8, but I'll give it a 9. I really liked it here. In terms of flaws, there is something that happens in this episode that I thought, and I'm trying to talk about without spoilers, but it's a scene that I thought was very cool that was shown in the trailers. I just wish we got a bit more of it, but still, great episode. I'm excited for episode 3.